Yeah, that's like jazzy blues, man. Pretty cool stuff. Straight jazz, baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. One, two, three. How you doing? Nice to see you. Hi, Sabina. that's an old jazz standard that's called "Falling in Love with Love." Um, Starts out subtle and then it gets keeps getting more progressive. That's what I like about it. I like songs like that. They start out simple and they keep getting more and more progressive. Oh, thanks, man. I'm glad you. Hey, thanks, Alex. I read your comment. Thank you very much, bro. Why do you always delete your life experiences, life advice videos? You have a lot of valuable stuff to share. Well, yeah. I mean, we all go through stuff, but my life. I talk a little bit about that. My life was a little different than a lot of other people. Um, I was sold out to a cult when I was a kid. It's crazy. Um, my father started giving me drugs when I was a little kid, and I was brought up in a junk car business in a junkyard. But he was an electrician. He made good money. I was very abused, screamed at every day. My older cousins lived next door, 6 and 7 years older than me. Just basically tortured me every day. I was on drugs every day. My father gave me pills every day. And I remember I failed the first grade. I was going to Columbia School. I was in Miss Barry's class, and I would go out in the hallway and lay my coat in the hallway floor, and go to sleep on it. And it was old school back then. She'd come over and kick me and make me get up, but I wouldn't do any work. I was only 7 years old, man, and I didn't do any work, and I failed the first grade. But the abuse continued, man. You know, throughout my life, it was a weird life. It really was. In the junk car business, man, um, they had junkyard dogs that were killer dogs. They were trained to kill. Now, this was you can if anybody wants to do research on what I'm talking about. This was at 1704 Michigan Street, Hammond, Indiana, in the Roxana area of Hammond. Um, half of Michigan Street over there is one side of it's Michigan Street, the other side of it's Carroll Street. It's like East Chicago, Indiana. So where I was at, I was in the Hammond side, and these junkyard dogs, they were vicious dogs. But I would sneak out my window at night sometimes and go and play with those dogs. How that happened is weird because dogs are more intelligent than what people give them credit for. Um, my two older cousins took me out in the middle of the junkyard and they left me there. They tricked me into following them. I mean, I was a little kid. I was only 7, 8 years old when they did that. And they left me there and the dogs surrounded me. But instead of attacking me and killing me and ripping me apart, they loved me. Those dogs loved me. We made up a game called hide and seek, you know. And yeah, I've had some really weird experiences in my life, you know, and it's just something to talk about. I mean, I was accused of a crime that I didn't commit in 1972. I had all the cops after me and everything. And then when I was 13 years old, I was tortured by getting my teeth drilled out, strapped to a chair, actually getting my teeth drilled out. I lost the cap. I recently lost the cap here on my tooth. It's gone because of that. But my teeth were like that since I was 13 years old. So it was it's really nothing new to me. And then after that, I had a trusted friend, and I was called, and I was invited to a party, and I was drugged. I was drugged and raped and things, and but I stayed straight. For some reason girls like me. They still like me, and I still had girlfriends and stuff. It was a rough life. I talk about that life, man. It's depressing, man. But I don't know how I survived it, man. I mean, I was picked by some kind of crazy cult. These people are crazy, man. And I'm not just, I can actually name people that were associated with these cults. So it's not something that I'm just talking about. I can actually name people, and I have evidence. I obviously have evidence, that that happened and stuff. Uh, but the life experiences. Those were my life experiences growing up, and they're crazy people. They really are. There's some really crazy people. But a lot of those people, when I seen things bad happen to them, they became crybabies. Neither one of my cousins aren't alive anymore that did that. My the guy that called himself my father, which I don't claim that he was my father. He was a big crybaby in the end. So these guys, these people, they do very horrible things to people, but when it comes their turn to face, face their punishment, they're always babies. They're very sarcastic and stuff like that when they have power, but when they don't have power, then they become babies and they want sympathy from everybody. So, I lived through a lot. My life was. I didn't want to bring that up, but when you brought that up, when Alex brought that up, I wanted to talk a little bit about that, man. Uh, yeah, I mean, when you have somebody in your family who's supposed to be your parent that you're supposed to be able to trust, that was supposed to be my father. I was supposed to be able to trust him, but I couldn't trust him. Obviously, he was part of these nut job people here in America that do these things to kids sometimes, And I think law enforcement needs to crack down on this, and there's corruption in law enforcement too. But I think that the United States government should get involved and crack down on these people because they're crazy people, and it shouldn't be that way in the United States of America. Where they could randomly. I mean, what if they pick your child to do that too? You know what I mean? I'm not the only victim of that kind of abuse, man. Look at Gypsy Rose Blanchard and other people have been abused like that in families and things. So I would submit to a polygraph exam. I can provide names and everything that I'm talking about can be verified. And America shouldn't be like that. America, especially not for children, man. That's a real coward that would do that to a child. And I seen these people that were very brave and brazen and tough, but when their end came, they weren't brazen at all. They're cowards. My late father, he died a coward. He was a big crybaby when he died before he passed away. He was always complaining. So it's just that's the way they are, man. They're tough when they have the upper hand, but when something's happening to them, they're no longer tough anymore. They're big crybabies. And I've been through a lot in my life. I've experienced a stroke. In 2019, I was in the hospital and I was in a coma for a long time. And I came out of the coma, and they said I was the least complainer in the hospital. I was the sickest person in that hospital at that time, but they said I was the least complainer. That's because I know what torture's like. And these people that are sarcastic and mean like that, they don't realize when they lose their facilities, and they will eventually lose their facilities, it could happen where they don't have their use of their arms and legs anymore, and they can't move nothing but their head, maybe. And then they're laying there, eventually, the meanest person in the world will eventually face that to where, they have to face death and stuff. So, it's, I'm not a crybaby, man. I've been through a lot in life, but I just keep pushing on. I just try to be, as nice as I can in this world because I know pain, man. I know pain, but I don't like hurt. I don't like harming things, man. I don't like to feel like a coward. That makes me feel like a coward, you know, hurting like I would never hurt a child or anything like that because I hate cowards, man. I've never liked them. So so that's my opinion there. I mean, people when they have the upper hand, they're mean and they talk brave and everything, but that can be taken away at any time. Any one of us can get a disease that can afflict the body, that can take that power away from anybody. I don't care. It could be the most powerful mafia guy, and he might one day catch a disease where he can't move anything, and just be laying there and just a head. You know what I mean? Then what's he gonna do? It can happen to anybody, man. So I don't get that. I don't get people like that, man. Who'd you vote for and you regret, Leo? Oh, Trump. Donald Trump, I voted for him because he seemed to be wanting to bring back the patriotism in America. I don't know what he's going to do, but I liked him better than the other person who was just outright crazy. Kamala Harris, she wanted to come into people's homes and checking to see if the guns were secured, and if they're not secured, then she's going to take your gun from your home. She wanted to, what I mean, a whole bunch of stuff that she was doing that I don't agree with. She wanted to make the all the bathrooms unisex. She was with Obama on that, making the bathrooms unisex and things like that. That's why I didn't vote for her, because she was a nut job. We don't need that in America. That's all I'm saying, man. I'm just trying to live, but you know what I mean. When my time's up, I'll go. When my time's up, I'll go. So I was just like wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about guitar theory, and if there's any guitar players, you know, scales and modes. Learn your scales and modes, man. So like I'm playing in G minor. That's gonna be Dorian. I'm playing the F major scale over G minor. And I'm doing these without any distortion on my guitar, without any backup music. I'm just playing solo. As a guitar player, I have no backup music whatsoever, and it's easier to play with backup music because you got something to follow. If you have backup music, then you can do a lot more. You know what I mean? But if you don't have backup music, it's a lot harder to play. You understand what I'm saying? So it's kind of so that's just basically the F major scale, which is Dorian to G minor seven. But if you want to be a little more creative and sound more like a jazz guitar player, then you will play over the melodic minor mode, which sounds like this. So much more interesting that sounds than just than just playing the Dorian mode. So you play that's like pentatonic and Dorian mode. But if you want to sound more like a jazz guitar player, then you would. See what I'm doing there? So that's jazz minor right there. But if I just play straight Dorian, it sounds like sounds good, but it don't sound jazz. It don't sound nearly as jazzy as playing like the melodic minor mode. You know. And the reason if you notice, I did like a run, like a major run. The reason that works is because B flat major is the sixth mode. The sixth mode of B flat major is G, which makes that the minor scale or Aeolian mode to G. So if like if you got B flat, you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So if I play sounds minor, but if I do a jazz run over that, it doesn't sound minor anymore. So yeah, so if I'm playing, You know that one, right? That's more Steely Dan stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I had to go order some of that stuff because I'm like playing stuff I'm familiar with right now. And it's like when you're playing live, you get a little nervous, man. You have to kind of review stuff and then come back on live and play it. So yeah, I'll do it when I come back though. Last night, I did remember that song though. What song was that? That was a Steely Dan. Um, your bag, Jack. Do it again. Do it again. The name of that song. Do it again. Yeah. You're back, Jack. Do it again. I'm not a singer, but yeah, that's how it goes, man. You know, so get back, Jack. Do it again. Wish I could sing like that cat. That dude, those guys, both of them. Donald Fagan and the other guy, man. They could really sing, man. You huge fan of theirs, you know. Singing's hard, man, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sure Kurt can use any guitar he wants. Very rich man. Yeah, he uses several different models. I'm sure he uses the Les Paul sometimes too. Yeah, yeah. He's wealthy, man. He probably has a guitar studio full of guitars, man. That's what I'm thinking. You know, that's what I would do if I were as rich as Kurt. You know, he's those guys are so rich, man. You know, money's like paper to them, man. I mean, it's like they got more money than they know what to do with, you know. So he probably has his own music store. That's what I'm thinking. You know, he you know, like hundreds of guitars. Just walk up, just grab one, and play whatever one he picks up. You know what I mean? That's how much. That's they got ridiculous money. Metallica's got ridiculous money, man. But you know they earned it. They had to climb up the ladder just like the other rock bands and stuff. You know, so they earned that money. Writing great, they had to write great tunes and come out and produce really great music to get money like that. I'm a Metallica fan. I think they're awesome. I was more so. I love Metallica. Don't get me wrong, man. But I was even more of a Pantera fan when Dimebag Darrell was alive. I was crazy about that band. They were so good, dude. Yeah, that Cemetery song and then Cowboys from Hell, man. That smoked everything. Watch that video when they're in Moscow and they play Cowboys from Hell. I love that. Yeah, Peter Green, Gary Moore, owned it before. Yeah, they were great. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, Gary Moore, man. I wish he was still around. And Gary Moore unfortunately passed away, but um, he was a fantastic guitarist. I know who you're talking about, Gary Moore. He was a fantastic guitar player. Yeah, the blues, like if you got if like you're in G, sure. So you like got this five chord, right? You know what I mean by five chord. You got G right here. This is right here is the bottom of the neck. They call it bottom because it's the lowest string. Okay, so you go to the third fret, and then you count five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you just hit these two notes here, right? So you got you're what you're doing is with the blues scales. So if you wanted to go by your scales, 1, 2, 3, 4, sharp, 4, 5, like that. So it's like an alteration of the pentatonic scale. So it's like you got uh that's your basic blues scale right there, and then you just do stuff over it, you know. You have to experiment with it, you know, kind of play with it, and just taking notes from that. That's all I'm doing is taking notes from that and just playing over those notes. So you got to kind of play with it until you get like a really bluesy sound. That's all I did. That's how I learned how to play blues. So you got to kind of walk it down, and then you get used to it. Once you get used to it, it's like anything else. Yeah, that's like Chicago style blues right there. Yeah, that's Chicago style blues right there. And if you're like into Chuck Berry, that kind of thing. That's like a Chuck Berry thing. They actually Chuck didn't actually play that complicated. If you watch his videos, he didn't actually play that complicated. It's other people came along and kind of modified it. But he was the first one to do it. You know what I mean? So you got to give him credit for that. But Chuck didn't do the. He didn't do the. You know what I mean? He just played straight. But yeah, that's pretty much like that's Johnny Be Good. Yeah, that's the basic riff. That's basically how you do it. All right, Brazil. I'm mostly a jazz player, but I know a little bit of Spanish. So I know enough to fake. You know what I mean? I know enough about Spanish music to fake, man. Yeah. But this part right here is Bach actually. It's from a Bach thing. Anastasia. Yeah, that's a beautiful name, Anastasia. Uh, is that the name of what I was doing? I don't know what I was doing, man. I'm just like improvising, man. Thanks. I'm just like improvising over the because I know scales and modes and stuff. I'm a jazz player. I can go into other people's music and kind of you know what I mean, kind of hang. Not like somebody like a flamenco player, like he can he specializes in that. He's a great, you know what I mean. But I can hang. I can at least hang and come on, at least sound Spanish, man. You know what I mean. Do a good fake. I can do a good fake. You know what I mean. Some of those flamenco guys, man, they're insane, dude. They're like I don't know, man. They're great. They're great. You know. But that's a different genre of music altogether, than what I normally do. I normally play jazz, which I'm about jazzed out. I'm gonna have to get off here. I got things to do, but hey man, I appreciate everybody showing up, guys. Thanks for checking me out, man. I really appreciate that. Um, I gotta feed my dog again. I gotta let him out, and I got things to do. Yeah, see, I know when he's gonna bark, man. He's a pest. What? What? Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm glad you like that. So, I try, man. It's the guitar. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, hold on a minute. Hold on. Shh, shh. Quiet. The guitar is like an instrument where it's not. It is hard because it's like a non-ending. You can you can think you know everything, and then you come along and you hear something else that blows your mind, man. That you think is great, and you're like, oh, I got to learn that, or try to learn that. Maybe I can't learn it, but I'll try to learn it. Maybe learn some of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you got different styles. I ain't gonna go into somebody's style and beat them at their style. That's I respect everybody. So what I'm saying is like I might pick some stuff from that person's style and use it in my music. Kind of borrow stuff from different people, and that's basically what I've been doing, man. Is like borrowing. Um, Now I don't know that song, but I'm sure it's awesome. I would like to. I'd like to hear it. I'm gonna go on. That sounds like a good tune, man. I would like to hear that, man. I'm always interested in that type of music. You know, um, different musical cultures and stuff. I love it. I love Indian music. I love the sound of Indian music. I love the sound of the Pakistani music. I like that. I like that music. It's good music, man. So I know Robert Plant and Jimmy Page did that for a while. They kind of delved into the different styles and stuff, and I thought that was really cool. How old am I? I'm up there, man. I'm in my 60s, bro. I'm 64. I'll tell you, I'm 64, man. But yeah, I can play a lot of rock, man. But I gotta kind of review some stuff, man, because I haven't played it in so long, man. I used to play Seek and Destroy, Puppet Masters. Uh, I played a couple. I played a few Metallica numbers. You know, when I was younger, I used to do that. I used to delve into that. So I've played a little bit of everything. I played a little bit of everything. So Metallica's been around for a long time. So I used to play their stuff. Yeah, what? How long have I been playing the guitar? Well, on and off since I was 6. I never had formal lessons though. I'm all self-taught. On and off. On and off since I was 6. I was a really great rock guitar player at one time when I was in my teenagers, but then I did something stupid and I had a stroke. And I had to learn how to play again. I lost control of my right hand, and I had to learn how to play. And prior to having the stroke, I would hold the pick like this, these two fingers, and I would pick down. And I was very good at it. But after I had the stroke, I could no longer do that. I couldn't play like that for some reason. And then I seen this guy, Steve Morris. I don't know if you've heard of him, Steve Morris. And I noticed he like angles the pick up when he plays. And I tried that, and it worked for me, and I was able to alternate pick again. It is kind of weird what a stroke does to your brain. It changes you. It really does. It completely changed my way of thinking and everything. Like prior to having the stroke, I never played jazz. I played rock and classical. I was a good player. I played rock and classical music in Spanish style. I did play a little Spanish, but I played tons of rock. I knew everything by every rock band that was out, and I'm serious, everything. Um, but after I had a stroke, I had to relearn how to do everything again, and that was yeah, Zeppelin, Sabbath, Deep Purple, all those bands, man. I used to play all that, Pink Floyd, everything, man, everything you can think of in rock, I played. When I was a teenager, I was good. I was in the first band I was in was called the Watts. I was a little kid, and they wanted me to be a guitar player because they couldn't find a guitar player, and I was way younger than them. That was the 1960s, and we would get private gigs and stuff. When I got a chance to get away from home, I'd sneak away from home, and then I played in a band called Conspiracy in the early 70s. We were really good. Uh, and then I got into a band called Hardcore. We almost made it, man. Hardcore was a really good band. We played hardcore. That's what we played. Hardcore, Sabbath, Zeppelin, Deep Purple, the hard stuff though. And we do private parties and stuff. But I did something stupid and I had a stroke and I had to learn how to walk and talk again. I lost my skills for a while and it blew my chance. You know what I mean? So that's the breaks, man. I could have been a famous rock star. Then again, I might be dead right now if I'd have went that direction because I partied a lot back then, and I might not be alive right now. I'd be like Jimi Hendrix, man. You know, I like the Les Paul, but this one had a fret job. It doesn't have the original factory frets on it, and the guy when he did the fret job, I was very disappointed because these are the cheaper frets. And when I first got this guitar, man, it was fantastic. You could hit a note and it wouldn't stop ringing out until you took your finger off that note. No kidding. That's how good this guitar was. I wore down 4 frets. We played private parties. We played all the time, and I practiced all the time. I warped 4 frets on the guitar. It was like you couldn't even play it anymore. So I had this guy do a fret job. I thought he was going to do the professional frets, but he did a lousy job on the fret job. And I've had this guitar so long. This pickup is like sunk down into the guitar. Um, it's just old, man. The guitar is 50 years old. So, you know what I mean? It needs a lot of work. It needs to be refurbished and stuff like that. I am gonna keep it though because my mother bought me this guitar, and I did love my mother. My mother, she was a scared little woman. She was not even. She was barely 5 feet tall, had no education, and completely depended on my father just to live. I mean, so I understand what she was going through. She didn't want to be homeless, and stuff. So she was kind of trapped by that idiot. But my mother, my mother coerced and she got me this guitar when I was 14 years old, and I was just surprised that I was able to get it. And I love mom for doing that. So I don't ever want to get rid of it. I want to have it refurbished, and I'll show you the Les Paul. It's got the Les Paul. This is probably backwards. I don't know if you can see it. It's a Gibson. It's probably backwards though, but it's Gibson Les Paul custom. You can tell, it's an authentic, Les Paul. It just doesn't have the factory frets on it. It has the thinner frets like an Epi. It's got Epi frets on it. It's a Les Paul with Epi frets. Who does that? The guy was an idiot. I did not know he was going to do that, or I would have never got him to do it. You know what I mean? So, but what I want to do is I want to go ahead and send the guitar to the Gibson company and have them. Oh, thank you very much. That's how though. I really appreciate the compliment. I really appreciate that you like my playing and stuff. Yeah, you have a good night, man. I really appreciate everybody coming on here and checking me out, man. It makes me feel good. Um, when I get an audience and stuff and people listen to me play. Thanks a lot, guys. Okay, I'm gonna take off. I gotta let my dog out. He's going crazy. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much from the heart. I appreciate it. I always love performing for people, and I'll try to get back on here one more time tonight because it is Saturday night. I'll try to get back on here one more time and play some more stuff for y'all. Maybe some more rock and stuff. Get in the mood and stuff and play some rock for you guys. So I know I get a lot of rockers too on here too, not just jazz. Thanks, thanks. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate it, Broken. I appreciate it. Thank you. So I'm gonna take off for now, and I'll probably be back on later on. So peace. You all see y'all later.